here right now! I'll get you, you rascal!
Help! She's crazy!
In the busy town of Maple Street, there was an old apartment building that everyone knew about. Not because it was beautiful. Not because it was cheap. But because of the woman who owned it.
You come back here right now!
Her name was Mrs.
I'll get
Dambisa.
you, you rascal!
People in the neighborhood called her something else when she wasn't around. The evil landlady. Mrs. Dambisa was a tall woman with a sharp voice and a face that always looked angry.
Come out! You're
She
all in
loved
big
money
trouble.
more than anything in the
You're
world.
late on rent again. Rules
Every
are
month
rules.
she found a new reason to
Excuses, this is
collect
the third
extra
time.
money
I'll
from
Get
her
it soon, I
tenants.
promise.
If someone paid rent late, even by one day, she would throw their belongings outside. If someone complained about broken pipes or leaking roofs, she would shout at them instead of fixing the problem.
I got it!
Many people had lived in that building,
I'm open!
but very few
Nice
stayed for
play.
long. Because living under Mrs. Dambisa felt like living under a storm that never stopped. One hot afternoon, a young woman arrived at the building. Her name was Ada. She carried 2 small bags and looked around the old building quietly. Ada had just moved to town after getting a new job at a nearby hospital. She needed somewhere affordable to stay, and someone had told her about this apartment. When she knocked on the landlady's door, Mrs. Dambisa opened it slowly. Her eyes looked Ada up and down. "You want a room?" she asked coldly. "Yes, ma," Ada replied politely. Mrs. Dambisa crossed her arms. "Listen carefully. Rent must be paid on the first day of every month. No delay. No excuses. If you delay, I throw your things outside. Understand?" Ada nodded calmly. "I understand." Mrs. Dambisa looked surprised. Most people tried to argue or beg for
Room
kindness.
6 is down there.
But
on
Ada
the right.
simply accepted the
Room
rule.
6, thank you.
Room 6
Go on then,
upstairs,
don't be late.
the landlady
Okay.
said, handing her a key. Ada thanked her and walked upstairs. The hallway was quiet and a little dark. A man watering plants outside his door looked at Ada with pity. "You're new here?" he asked. "Yes," Ada smiled. The man sighed. "My name is Mr. Bello. Let me give you some advice." Ada listened. "Start saving money now," he said. "Because living here never lasts long." "Why?" Ada asked. Mr. Bello lowered his voice. "Because of the landlady." Another tenant, an elderly woman named Mama Grace, stepped out of her room. "That woman has no mercy," she said sadly. "Last year she threw out a young mother with 2 children. 2 days late with rent," Mr. Bello added. Ada's smile slowly faded. "That's terrible." Mama Grace shook her head. "People here are afraid of her." Ada thought quietly for a moment. Then she said something simple. "Well, we will see." The weeks passed. Ada quickly
morning,
became liked by
everyone.
everyone in the building.
Hi there.
She helped Mama Grace carry
Hello.
groceries. She fixed Mr. Bello's old radio. Sometimes she even bought bread for the children living downstairs. But Mrs. Dambisa watched her carefully. She did not like tenants who seemed happy. Happy tenants were harder to control. One morning,
Open
the
this
landlady
door
knocked
now.
loudly
I
on
said
Ada's
open
door.
it. What are
Bang.
you looking at?
Bang!
Get back!
Bang! Ada opened the door. "Yes, ma." "You used too much water this week," Mrs. Dambisa said harshly. "Too much water?" "Yes. You must pay extra." Ada looked confused. "But water is included in the rent." "Not anymore," the landlady snapped. Normally, tenants would panic and quickly pay. But Ada stayed calm. She smiled politely. "That's fine, ma." Mrs. Dambisa smirked. But Ada continued speaking. "Can you please show me the written notice for the new rule?" The landlady blinked. "Written notice?" "Yes," Ada said calmly. "The one explaining the change." Mrs. Dambisa had no answer. She had never written any rules before. She usually just shouted until people paid. Ada kept smiling. "I will gladly pay when I see the notice." The landlady walked away
Who
angrily.
did this? Come
But
out
she
here
was
now.
not done.
I know you're
2
hiding.
days later she tried
Face
again.
me.
This time she accused Ada of making noise at night. You disturb everyone when you study, she shouted in the hallway. Tenants quietly opened their doors to watch. Ada calmly took out her phone. I record my study sessions, she said gently. She played the audio. The hallway filled with silence. No noise. No music. Just quiet pages turning. Mr. Bello began to laugh softly. Mrs. Dambisa's face turned red. She stormed away again. Now the tenants began to whisper. For the first time, someone was challenging the landlady. One evening Mr. Bello asked Ada, "How are you not afraid of her?" Ada smiled. Bullies become powerful when people are afraid. Mama Grace nodded slowly. You are brave, my daughter. But Ada simply shrugged. I just believe in fairness. Mrs. Dambisa grew more angry each day. She needed to remind everyone who was in charge. So one night she did something cruel. She secretly cut the electricity to Ada's room. The entire building still had power. Except room 6. Mrs. Dambisa waited downstairs, smiling to herself. Soon, she thought, Ada would come begging. But Ada never came. The next morning, Ada knocked on the landlady's door. Good morning, Ma. Mrs. Dambisa frowned. What do you want? I just wanted to inform you about the electricity problem. So, I reported it. The landlady's expression changed. Reported. Yes, Ada said calmly. To the Housing Authority office. Mrs. Dambisa's stomach tightened. They asked many questions, Ada continued. About electricity problems, rent payments, and the condition of the building. The landlady felt sweat on her forehead. Ada added one more sentence. They said they might visit soon. 2 days later, a white government vehicle stopped outside the building. Everyone watched from their windows. 2 officials stepped out carrying clipboards. Mrs. Dambisa rushed outside with a fake smile. Welcome, welcome. But the officials were serious. They inspected the building carefully. They checked the wiring. They checked the water pipes. They checked the rent records. They spoke to tenants. Mama Grace told them about the leaking roof.
Whoa! Get back!
Mr. Bello explained the unfair charges.
It's getting worse. Over there, quick,
Others
look
spoke
out.
about broken
It's
doors
sparking.
and
I
unsafe
see
stairs.
it. Turning it off.
The officials
careful.
wrote everything
Get the
down.
water. On it.
Mrs. Dambisa stood quietly, her confidence slowly disappearing. Finally, one official turned to her. Madam, he said firmly. You cannot run this building like this. She swallowed. You must repair these problems immediately. And you must stop harassing tenants. If we receive another complaint, this building could be closed. Mrs. Dambisa nodded quickly. Yes, of course. After the officials left, the tenants gathered outside. For the first time in years, people were smiling. Mr. Bello laughed loudly. Well, well, well. The evil landlady finally met her match. Everyone looked at Ada. She looked slightly embarrassed. I didn't do anything special, she said. I only followed the law. Mama Grace held her hand warmly. Sometimes that is enough. From that day forward, things changed. Mrs. Dambisa stopped shouting. She stopped inventing fake charges. Broken pipes were repaired. The electricity problems disappeared. And for the first time in many years,
I got it!
the
Over
building
here.
felt
Now,
like a
take
home.
it. I'm open!
One evening,
Nice
as
play.
Ada returned from work, Mrs. Dambisa saw her in the hallway. For a moment, the landlady looked uncomfortable. Then she spoke quietly. Good evening. Ada. Ada smiled kindly. Good evening, Ma. Sometimes, the strongest weapon against cruelty is not anger, not fighting, not revenge. It is calm courage, and knowing your rights. And that was the day the evil landlady finally met her match.